This is America in the Morning from Westwood One. It's Thursday, December 25th, 2025. Merry Christmas. I'm Clayton Neville. Here's what's coming up on America in the Morning. We'll take a look at Christmas being celebrated around the world, from the Vatican and Bethlehem and across America, as kids wake up this morning to presents under the tree.
A flash flood warning is in effect for parts of Southern California.
Significant flooding and mudslides.
I'm Mike Hempen.
Some states fight back over federal efforts to ban gender-affirming care for minors. I'm Rich Johnson.
On Wall Street, it's quiet. The markets are closed for this Christmas holiday. Stocks are near record highs. I'm Jessica Ettinger.
Sean Diddy Combs once out of jail, and correspondent Haya Panjwani has the story of a miracle baby in California. All ahead on America in the Morning. The Christmas holiday being celebrated around the globe, with the first American-born Pope, Pope Leo XIV, holding his first Christmas Mass as Pontiff at the Vatican.
Confiteor Deo omnipotenti et vobis fratres, quia peccabilis, cogitatione, verbo, opere, commissione.
The Pope delivered a message about the strength of Jesus to rise again.
La santità dello Spirito brilla in quel corpicino appena lavato e avvolto in faccia.
Elsewhere, including stateside in America, Christians celebrating by filling churches and cathedrals. Heightened security at many places of worship following this month's attack on a Hanukkah event in Australia and other recent faith-based attacks. Meanwhile, in Florida, President Trump had a call with U.S. troops on Christmas Eve for Mar-a-Lago. He touted the newly announced Warrior Dividend for members of the military.
It's tax-free, and we've distributed just about all of it in time for Christmas.
The president even got on the phone with kids calling the NORAD Santa tracker and was asked for his advice about leaving milk and cookies for Santa Claus.
Will Santa ever get mad if we don't leave him out any cookies?
I think he won't get mad, but I think he'll be very disappointed.
He even used the Christmas Eve calls to get a little political.
Santa loves Oklahoma like I do. You know, Oklahoma was very good to me in the election, so I love Oklahoma. Don't ever leave Oklahoma, okay?
Americans waking up to a mixed bag of weather this Christmas, unseasonably and potentially record warm temperatures expected in places like the South and the Midwest. Further north and east in Pennsylvania, New York, and New England, a series of storms could bring snow, ice, and rain on this Christmas day. Southern California is in the midst of a deluge as a powerful winter storm is dumping as much as 10 inches of rain in the greater Los Angeles area. Mud and rock slides have buried several roads, and with flash flood warnings in place, the state's pleading with drivers to avoid any Christmas travel plans. With the state of emergency and a number of power outages reported, some people in counties in and around LA will be spending the holiday in shelters because of mandatory evacuations. Correspondent Mike Hempen reports on a very rainy California Christmas.
A flash flood warning is in effect for parts of Southern California.
Safety is of paramount concern this week because, as you know, we're expecting a strong winter storm with heavy rain and wind through Saturday, December 27th.
Heavy rain is lashing the area. The storm system could cause mudslides and debris flows in areas scorched by January's wildfires.
The onset of a major storm system that Mayor Bass had mentioned that's going to affect many Angelenos during the Christmas holiday. This is the type of storm system that affects the area approximately every 5 to 10 years or so. But what makes this storm unique is that the brunt of the rainfall is expected to occur right through Christmas Eve and Christmas Day.
National Weather Service meteorologist Ariel Cohen is urging holiday travelers to stay off the roads both Christmas Eve and Christmas Day.
If you're planning to be out on the roads during the Christmas holiday, please reconsider your plans. By the time we get to late Wednesday through Friday, many areas will likely be experiencing significant flooding along with rock slides and mudslides.
The rain began in the Los Angeles area Tuesday night. I'm Mike Hempen.
It appears someone in Arkansas will wake up to over $1 billion under their Christmas tree. Lottery officials say only one winning ticket for the $1.8 billion Powerball jackpot was sold somewhere in Arkansas. Those winning numbers were 4, 25, 31, 52, and 59, with the Powerball 19. It's the second largest lottery jackpot ever in the U.S. And a rideshare driver lucky to be alive today. We'll tell you why, plus your Christmas forecast when America in the Morning returns after this. As Americans wake up to unwrapped presents under the tree this Christmas morning, the weather world is opening a mixed bag. Here's meteorologist Matt Rindy. He's got your Christmas forecast.
The Christmas storm in the west continues to have a significant impact across the region, with frequent showers through Washington and Oregon and a steadier rain through much of California into southern Nevada, some of which can be heavy again today along the southern California coast. Showers will also expand through northern Nevada into Idaho, Utah, and Arizona, with a few snow showers in higher elevations. Heavy snow will continue across the Sierra Nevada today, with another 1 to 2 feet of snow possible by Friday morning. Some lingering rain and snow will continue on Friday in the west, but the weekend will turn calmer. Another storm will develop today in the northern plains from the North Dakota into Minnesota, with a mixture of snow, sleet, and freezing rain. This storm will continue to produce snow, ice, and rain into Wisconsin, Iowa, and Illinois tonight before moving into Michigan and Ohio late. This could impact some travel plans for these areas. This system will move eastward on Friday with snow, ice, and rain through New York, southern New England, and the middle Atlantic. And for the central and southern plains, it's going to be another warm day for many locations. From southern South Dakota into Texas, we'll have 60s and 70s reaching into southwest South Dakota, into Nebraska, and then eastern Colorado and Kansas with 80-degree readings in Texas. And these highs are likely to break records by several degrees. That warmth with some sunshine will continue to spread eastward into the Tennessee Valley and the southeast. That's the weather across America. Noel, Missouri will be quite warm today with partly sunny skies and a high of 74. Bethlehem, Pennsylvania will have a mixture of clouds and sun with a high of 45. That's the nation's weather. I'm AccuWeather.com meteorologist Matt Rindy.
Remember to follow us everywhere you get your podcasts. You can listen on your preferred platform. Just search America in the Morning in your favorite listening app. 18 states and the District of Columbia are suing the Trump administration over its efforts to end gender-affirming care for minors. The details from correspondent Rich Johnson.
It was last week when Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. attacked what he called sex-rejecting procedures, saying that kids are being conditioned to believe that sex can be changed.
So-called gender-affirming care has inflicted lasting physical and psychological damage on vulnerable young people. This is not medicine, it is malpractice.
This new lawsuit calls Kennedy's declaration an overreach of his authority.
The Trump administration continues to want to put politicians in your doctor's office.
Oregon Attorney General Dan Rayfield is leading the suit, which contends that HHS is trying to make its policy effective nationwide immediately without consulting doctors, patients, or the states.
And now they're trying to get in between you and your doctor when it comes to gender-affirming care, and we will not stand for that.
HHS wants to revoke federal Medicare and Medicaid funding for any doctors, hospitals, and clinics in the country that provide minors with transgender-related treatments. Health and Human Services Deputy Secretary Jim O'Neill summed up the department's stand.
Men are men. Men can never become women. Women are women. Women can never become men.
Gender-affirming procedures for children are banned or restricted in 27 states. I'm Rich Johnson.
A rideshare driver is lucky to be alive after she was kidnapped by 3 fugitives, including a convicted killer who escaped a Georgia prison. Lisa Dwyer reports that Lyft driver was forced to go with the inmates to South Florida before authorities tracked them down.
3 inmates who escaped from a jail east of Atlanta, including a murder suspect, commandeered a terrified Lyft driver's car to reach South Florida before she was rescued and they were captured. The driver told FBI agents that the men used a fake name to order the ride, put a rope around her neck, and dragged her into the back seat, threatening to kill her. Authorities tracked the Lyft car using license plate readers. 2 inmates were arrested after a chase, and the third was found in a rented home. All 3 face kidnapping and escape charges. The Lyft driver is traumatized but safe. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
A deep breath for the shopping world on this Christmas Day, with more holiday shopping expected tomorrow. We've got Thursday business when America in the Morning returns after these messages. The Business Report is sponsored by Gusto. Gusto is a simple online payroll and benefits tool built for small businesses. Learn more at gusto.com/radio. Here's CNBC's Jessica Ettinger with Thursday Business.
Wall Street is quiet this morning as the financial markets are closed for this Christmas Day holiday. There are 4 trading days left in 2025. The major averages are all higher for the year for the 3rd year in a row. The S&P 500 index up about 17% so far this year. Some investors think stocks are going to have another good year next year.
I think that modest growth with moderate to moderating inflation, that's a good setup for risk assets, and that's really what we're looking for in 2026.
Wells Fargo's Scott Wren on CNBC. And here's Charles Schwab's Liz Ann Saunders on CNBC.
Not that history ever serves as a perfect guide. I love Warren Buffett's quote about if predicting market returns was just about history, then librarians would be the richest people in the world. But if you do look back at 3 strong or up years in a row, more often than not, they're followed by another decent year.
If you're itching to buy and sell something today, there's always crypto. You can buy cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin anytime you want because the market never closes. It's 24/7. Gold and silver each hit fresh all-time highs on Wednesday in trading again. The Carson Group's Ryan Dietrich is bullish on gold and stocks, saying one doesn't have to go down while the other goes up.
I think gold and stocks are going to go higher potentially for years. I mean, we were one of the few places back in 23 that said that because they can. Go back in history. There's a 5 and 6 year period where gold and stocks go higher together. I think we're still, I think we're still in that. Bottom line, we own a little bit of gold in our more tactical models here at the Carson Group. I think it makes sense. Even some of our longer term strategic, we added earlier this year too. So it makes sense to have a little bit of gold here.
While Santa may have brought some goodies this morning to many American homes, consumers are in the dumps. Consumer confidence tanked again in December in new numbers out just before the holiday, to the lowest since President Trump announced the tariffs last April. But SW Retail Advisors Stacy Widlitz says people say one thing and then do another with their money.
The consumer is always saying, oh, they're cautious. Every CEO we've heard from that reported Q3 earnings, the consumer is cautious, and yet the consumer's out there and they're spending on full price, because what we know is that there are fewer discounts out there. Certainly you hear the consumer's cautious, but what we've seen is there's a lot of full price selling.
Christmas is a day for almost no retail. Major chains are all closed. Some grocery stores and pharmacies may have limited hours today. Many gas stations are open. But after Christmas sales have already started online. On today's watch list, it's quiet, but the markets will trade a full day tomorrow on Wall Street.
A disgraced music mogul demanding to be released from prison, still behind bars on this Christmas morning. We'll tell you who when America in the Morning returns after this. Disgraced music mogul Sean Diddy Combs is spending Christmas behind bars but is seeking immediate release from prison. Correspondent Julie Walker reports.
Lawyers for hip-hop mogul Sean Diddy Combs are asking a federal appeals court in New York to order his immediate release from prison. They also want the court to reverse his conviction or direct his trial judge to lighten his 4-year sentence. Combs was convicted on prostitution-related charges, but acquitted of racketeering conspiracy and sex trafficking at his trial that ended in July. His lawyers say Combs was treated harshly at sentencing by the judge. They also say that judge let evidence surrounding those charges he was acquitted of unjustly influence him and his sentence. The 56-year-old Combs is in lockup in New Jersey, scheduled for release in May of 2028. Julie Walker, New York.
Christmas is the season for miracles, and for one California woman, it was the miracle of birth that defied all the odds. Correspondent Hempen reports a 41-year-old nurse who had no idea she was pregnant until the day before she gave birth did so in a 1 in a million pregnancy. What she originally thought was a large ovarian cyst turned out to be a healthy baby girl.
Susie Lopez, a 41-year-old nurse who lives in Bakersfield, California, didn't know she was pregnant with her second child until days before giving birth. Before little Ryu was born, he developed outside his mother's womb, hidden by a basketball-sized ovarian cyst.
I knew my stomach was growing. I was just thinking it was the cyst. And he was kicking against probably the cyst. And so that's why I didn't feel any kicking at all.
Just 1 in 30,000 pregnancies occur in the abdomen instead of the uterus. And those that make it to full term are, quote, essentially unheard of, far, far less than 1 in a million. That's according to John Ozimek, the medical director of labor and delivery at Cedars-Sinai in Los Angeles, where Ryu was born.
I love everything about this whole story. I treasure it, and I do believe in miracles. God gave us this gift. The best gift ever.
I'm Hempen.
America in the Morning for December 25th, 2025 is produced by Jeff McKay. I'm Clayton Neville in for John Trout. Merry Christmas. This is Westwood One. This is America in the Morning from Westwood One. Merry Christmas. Coming up this half hour.
The Justice Department reveals they just received an additional 1 million documents related to the Jeffrey Epstein case. I'm John Stolnis in Washington.
Controversy at CBS News continues days after a 60-minute segment was pulled at the last minute. I'm Steve Futterman.
2 people were killed and 20 sent to the hospital following an explosion at a nursing home northeast of Philadelphia. I'm Julie Walker.
The Trump administration's issued a stop work order directing offshore wind developers to suspend all ongoing activities. I'm Ben Thomas.
What is available to watch on Christmas Day for entertainment to enhance the holiday experience? I'm Kevin Carr.
We'll be right back. The weather world gifting us with a mixed bag in the forecast on this Christmas morning. Unseasonably warm in some spots, wet and cold in others. Here's Matt Rindy.
A storm will be developing this Christmas Day through the northern plains from North Dakota into Minnesota. We'll have a mixture of snow, sleet, and freezing rain, and then that will continue to produce snow, ice, and plain rain into Wisconsin, Iowa, and Illinois tonight before shifting into Michigan and Ohio late. And this could cause some travel concerns for the folks in these areas. This system will move eastward on Friday with snow, ice, and rain through New York into southern New England and the middle Atlantic. For the central and southern plains, it's going to be another warm day for many locations from southern South Dakota into Texas. We'll have 60s and 70s reaching into southwest South Dakota, into western Nebraska, eastern Colorado, and Kansas, and 80-degree readings in Texas. And these highs are likely to break records by several degrees. That warmth with sunshine will continue to spread eastward into the Tennessee Valley and the southeast. The storm in the west continues to have a significant impact, with the region having frequent showers through Washington and Oregon and a steadier rain through much of California into southern Nevada. Some of that rain can be heavy again along the southern California coast. And we'll have showers expanding through much of northern Nevada into Idaho, Utah, and Arizona, with a few snow showers in higher elevations. Meanwhile, heavy snow will continue across the Sierra Nevada today and tonight, with another 1 to 2 feet of snow possible by Friday morning. There will still be some lingering snow and rain on Friday, but the weekend will turn much calmer. Another system will move through eastern Kentucky into West Virginia and Virginia today with some rain and drizzle along it, but even here it will be on the warmer side of average with highs mostly in the 60s. That's the nation's weather. I'm AccuWeather.com meteorologist Matt Rindy.
Remember to follow us everywhere you get your podcasts. Follow and listen on your favorite platform. Just search America in the Morning in your favorite listening app. The Department of Justice says they've discovered more than 1 million additional documents related to the Jeffrey Epstein case, which they say compromises their ability to release everything now as required by law. John Stolnis has more from Washington.
DOJ officials said the documents are coming from attorneys with the Southern District of New York and the FBI, handed over a few days after the Epstein Files Transparency Act passed by Congress went into effect. On social media, the Justice Department said they are working around the clock to review the documents and make the legally required redactions to protect victims, but that it could take weeks for that work to be completed. On social media, Republican Congressman Thomas Massey, one of the co-sponsors of the bill passed by Congress, said, quote, "Today the DOJ claims the Epstein-Maxwell file exceeds 1.7 million documents, and they still expect you to believe this involves only 2 guilty people." The Justice Department has been sharing tens of thousands of files on a public website since last Friday, but not all at once, as required by law. In an interview with Aaron Parnas on X, Democrat Ro Khanna, the other co-sponsor of the law, said it's clear the DOJ is dragging their feet.
I just don't understand it. I don't understand it from a criminal perspective. They're basically committing obstruction of justice and could subject themselves to future prosecution and future administration. I don't understand it from a political perspective. They're angering their own base. And they're basically saying that these abandoned Americans don't matter as much as these powerful elite. This is the ultimate anger in this country, that this country has been co-opted by powerful elite who get one way to live and one set of rules, and people who are part of the working class and vulnerable don't matter. And that's what they're reinforcing.
Members of Congress, mostly Democrats, have blasted the DOJ for heavy redactions, some of which have blotted out the names of potential co-conspirators and not the names of victims. The bill required the Justice Department to redact any information that could compromise any ongoing cases or lawsuits, or if any information was deemed in the interest of national defense or foreign policy. John Stolnis, Washington.
The CBS News editor-in-chief is defending her move to slice out a 60-minute segment that angered both viewers and network employees. Steve Futterman reports the segment about deportations at a notorious prison in El Salvador is still getting viewed worldwide after it was mistakenly sent out on streaming media.
This is the 60-minute segment that was pulled at the last minute.
Tonight, you'll hear from some of those men. They describe torture, sexual...
It never made it on CBS, but because of the last-minute nature of the move, it did mistakenly appear on a Canadian app from Global News. Global has the Canadian rights to 60 Minutes. The segment has now been reposted on hundreds of social media platforms. Ironically, the segment is now being talked about and viewed more than it would have been if it had simply been on last week's show. Chris Whipple is a former 60 Minutes producer.
If Barry Weiss thought she was burying the story, she's done exactly the opposite.
Barry Weiss, CBS's new head of news, was the one who spiked the story. Yesterday, in a memo to CBS News employees, Weiss again defended her move. She said, "We have to work hard. Sometimes that means doing more legwork." In the memo, she says, the standards for fairness she is promoting may seem controversial to those used to doing things one way. One of Weiss's complaints was that there wasn't an interview with a Trump administration official. Specifically, she mentioned Stephen Miller. Yesterday on Fox, Miller almost gleefully talked about the tensions inside 60 Minutes.
Every one of those producers at 60 Minutes engaged in this revolt, fire them. Clean house, fire them.
Even though no Trump administration official was interviewed, Sharon Alfonsi, the correspondent who reported the segment, says the network did reach out.
The Department of Homeland Security declined our request for an interview and referred all questions about CCOT to El Salvador. The government there did not respond to our request.
Sharon Alfonsi says she believes the story was spiked for political reasons. Barry Weiss denies that and says she hopes a reworked version of the story will eventually appear on 60 Minutes. I'm Steve Futterman.
Investigators will be spending Christmas and the days after sifting through wreckage after a deadly eastern Pennsylvania nursing home explosion believed to have been caused by a gas leak that took the lives of a resident and a nurse and injured 20 others. Correspondent Julie Walker reports that in the midst of the chaos were rescues of many unable to escape the flames on their own at a nursing home that had received 24 citations in 2024 and rated with just 1 out of 5 stars on the federal Medicare website.
There are investigations underway as to what caused that explosion. The PUC is here on the ground working with PECO. We believe preliminarily that it was a gas leak that led to that. The explosion was really quite catastrophic. We know that at this time, there are at least 2 fatalities.
2 people were killed and 20 sent to the hospital following an explosion at a nursing home northeast of Philadelphia on Tuesday that remains under investigation, says Bristol Township Fire Chief Kevin DiPolito.
As far as the investigation into the cause of the explosion, that is still under investigation. We have heavy machinery on site right now that's helping us excavate the area. Until we excavate that area and remove the walls and roofs that collapsed, we won't have any idea what may have occurred in there.
Police Chief Charles Winnick says an employee and a resident at the Bristol Health and Rehab Center were killed, both women, and that rescuers did their best.
I've never seen such heroism. They were running into a building that I could, from 50 feet away, can still smell gas and walls that looked like they were going to fall down. And they were still going in the building to recover people. They couldn't walk. They were in wheelchairs. Some people couldn't talk. This could have been a much more serious catastrophe.
Authorities say a utility crew was on site responding to reports of a gas odor when the explosion occurred. I'm Julie Walker.
And the world is ringing in Christmas. We'll tell you how with the sounds of the holiday when America in the Morning returns. People around the world are ringing in Christmas Day, unwrapping presents and attending Mass in the United States as Pope Leo ushers in Christmas for the first time as Pontiff at the Vatican. Ukrainians marked their 4th Christmas in wartime after Russia rejected a holiday truce. For the past 2 years, the city of Bethlehem in the West Bank held very subdued ceremonies, but this year, with a fragile peace in place, they will usher in Christmas celebrations. Correspondent Charles de Ledesma reports.
For the past 2 years, as the war in Gaza dragged on, Christmas in Bethlehem has been a sombre affair, without the traditional festivities and decorations and music. But this year, families are flocking again to Manger Square, signalling hope about the fragile ceasefire and providing a much-needed economic boost to the city. Mayor of Bethlehem, Mahia Kanawati, tells the AP, the spirit is very high and joy is present among all the people in the city. We would like to send a message from Bethlehem to all our people around the world, and also a message to the whole world that the Palestinian people love life and peace. At midnight on Christmas Eve, the words of the traditional hymn, The Night of Christmas, will ring out in the tiny grotto in Bethlehem's Church of the Nativity, built on the site where Christians believe Jesus Christ was born. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
2 attorneys and an aide who worked on President Trump's failed 2020 campaign will be dealing with an upcoming court case despite similar cases in Michigan and Nevada that faltered. Correspondent Haya Panjwani reports.
A Wisconsin judge has ruled that 2 aides to President Donald Trump must face trial in a 2020 fake elector scheme. The charges relate to attempts by the former aides to present a slate of Republican electors to Congress, falsely claiming that President Trump had won Wisconsin in 2020, even though he lost to Democrat Joe Biden. The Wisconsin case is moving forward even as others in the battleground states of Michigan and Georgia have stalled. Last year, a special prosecutor dropped a federal case alleging Trump conspired to overturn the 2020 election. A Dane County Circuit judge ruled that there was probable cause to proceed with the 11 felony forgery charges against Jim Tropis, who was Trump's campaign attorney in Wisconsin, and Mike Roman, Trump's director of Election Day operations in 2020. I'm Haya Panjwani.
The Interior Department is putting a halt on offshore wind projects impacting states from Massachusetts to Virginia, citing national security concerns. Correspondent Ben Thomas reports the Trump administration's move could lead to a multi-state court fight.
The Trump administration's issued a stop work order directing offshore wind developers to suspend all ongoing activities related to 5 large-scale projects under construction along the East Coast. Letters obtained by the AP say the projects are to be halted for the next 90 days for reasons of national security. It did not reveal specifics about those national security concerns. But during the pause, the Interior Department says it will coordinate with the project developers to determine whether the national security threats can be adequately mitigated. It also indicates the 90-day period can be extended. Monday, the Trump administration suspended leases for the 5 wind projects located off the Atlantic coast from Virginia to Massachusetts. Governors of 4 affected states have vowed to fight the order. I'm Ben Thomas.
Hackers have broken into Spotify, claiming to be digital archivists, and then released all the songs onto the dark web. Chuck Palm has this story today in his news segment, The New Old Tech Guy.
A group known as Anna's Archive, the largest shadow library, is an online repository that aggregates pirated books, papers, and now apparently music. They recently announced that they scraped nearly 300 terabytes of data from Spotify. That's about 86 million songs, including the metadata with song titles, artists, albums, and playlists, which covers over 99% of all the listens on Spotify. And they're sending it around on the dark web for free. Don't be fooled, this is not an early holiday gift. It's actually theft of copyrighted data. The crooks are framing it as creating the first fully open preservation archive, and they claim to be protecting humanity's musical heritage from disasters or corporate decisions. But Spotify is not buying that spin. A Spotify spokesperson said that the company identified unauthorized access where a third party had scraped public metadata and used illicit methods to bypass the digital rights management of the tech that protects all that content. Spotify emphasized they have always stood against piracy and are working with the music industry to protect artists and creators. Anna's Archive is already controversial for their books, has now expanded into music. Pro tip, if you ever are on the dark web or downloading BitTorrent data, it is likely stolen and you should avoid it. For more, visit thenewoldtechguy.com. I'm Chuck Palm.
Robert Workman has sports.
Just one contest on Christmas Eve, but it was a wild college bowl game in Honolulu. Hawaii rallied from a 21-point deficit to beat Cal 35-31 in the Hawaii Bowl. The Golden Bears reached the end zone on their first 3 possessions, but the Rainbow Warriors chipped away, finally grabbing the lead midway through the fourth quarter. Cal QB Jaron Kiave Sangapolitele, who grew up in Honolulu, drove the Bears 75 yards and took it in himself for a 31-28 lead just after the 2-minute mark. But after Hawaii starter Micah Alejado took a hard hit, backup quarterback Luke Weaver, who was born an hour away from the Cal campus at Berkeley, threw a 22-yard TD pass to Nick Senecal with 10 seconds left to win it for the Rainbow Warriors. Today, the pros take over. Week 17 kicks off in the NFL with 3 games, Cowboys and Commanders. Then it's the Lions and the Vikings. Detroit must win to keep its playoff hopes alive. And tonight, the Broncos take on the Chiefs. Denver is in the postseason, and we get a 5 spot in the NBA starting at noon Eastern with the Cavaliers and the Knicks. Then maybe the game of the day, the Red-Hot Spurs at the defending champion Thunder. San Antonio has won 7 in a row, 2 of those against OKC, which has only lost 4 times in 30 games this season and is undefeated at home. Later, we'll get the Mavericks visiting the Warriors, the Rockets at the Lakers, and the day wraps up in Denver with the Timberwolves at the Nuggets. That's Christmas Day sports.
As you spend time with family this holiday season, the important stuff matters. What's streaming? We'll check in with our entertainment correspondent when America in the Morning returns. Don't go anywhere. A charity turkey shoot in North Carolina is a holiday tradition, but this isn't your ordinary turkey shoot as it has no ruffled feathers. Correspondent Mike Hempen reports, and no turkeys were harmed in the production of this report.
The main misconception is they think we shoot live turkeys out here. We do not. We shoot at targets.
That's former Lodge Governor Glenn Copeland talking about the holiday turkey shoots at Moose Lodge 1318 in Wake Forest, North Carolina. 3 nights a week from late October through Christmas. Shooters compete for cash, baby back ribs, a ham, and yes, a turkey. It's a tradition that goes back to pioneer times when competitors shot at real turkeys tied in place. Copeland says the lodge has managed to fight off annexation by a city that restricts the shooting of guns.
It is actually city limits all the way around us. Our piece of property is still county. They have left us county just so we can shoot because you cannot shoot inside the city limits.
Proceeds go toward various charities, including a big Thanksgiving dinner for area seniors and an angel tree surrounded by Christmas gifts for needy children.
It's just fun. It's something that I did with my father and brothers ever since we all were little. And it's just a great feeling how to come out and just shoot with everybody and talk, have good conversations with everybody.
I'm Mike Hempen.
Some of us will be on the road visiting family. Others will stay at home. And that brings up the question, what can you watch on Christmas to make your holiday more special? Entertainment reporter Kevin Carr has the answer.
What can you watch this Christmas morning? If you want a fire while you open presents, turn on Netflix Fireplace in your home or Prime's U-Log for some cozy images.
Merry Christmas, Charlie Brown!
Later, the family can watch the Peanuts specials on Apple TV+.
Merry Christmas, Emporium! Merry Christmas, you wonderful old building and loan!
Enjoy It's a Wonderful Life on Prime Video, but be sure to choose the original and not the one with AI music. And Disney Plus has Miracle on 34th Street, Mickey's Christmas Carol, and Home Alone.
Keep the change, you filthy animal.
Most streaming services have highlighted classic Christmas TV episodes like Brooklyn Nine-Nine on Peacock and The Simpsons on Disney Plus.
Jingle bells, Batman smells, Robin lays an egg. The Batmobile broke its wheel, the Joker got a
The original Rankin Bass holiday specials like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Frosty the Snowman, and The Year Without a Santa Claus are available on Sling and Hulu.
I'm Mr. Green Christmas, I'm Mr. Sun.
Finally, this year, football fans can turn to streaming. The Cowboys face the Commanders at 1 p.m. on Netflix, and the Lions take on the Vikings at 4:30. In the evening, the Broncos battle the Chiefs at 8:15 on Prime. All times are Eastern. Merry Christmas. I'm Kevin Carr.
America in the Morning for Thursday, December 25th, 2025 is produced by Jeff McKay. I'm Clayton Neville in for John Trout, and this is Westwood One. Merry Christmas.